Alright, I just had to address this. If it looks like I'm reading, it's because parts of it I am going to read off what was already said, because I said some of it in the comments, but I feel like it really needs to be said. In my opinion, what you do is help the fighting game community. This means helping people who might not otherwise play, because they become aware of fighting games they might like, as well as teach them the game mechanics or the characters, so that, the people who need help in the game can join in the fun. Sure, that means it's inevitable, with more players comes more scrubs, but that's any game, and it depends on what you mean by scrubs, really. If you mean people who suck at the game just because they're new, that's not a scrub, obviously. And you know that, and they need to learn that. But not just that, there's also people like me. I've been a fighting game fan for a long, long time, okay? I played Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, Super Street Fighter 2, to be specific. Growing up as a kid, I played the original Mortal Kombats, I played Killer Instinct. There's an ant on the camera, and it's raining, sorry about that. Anyway, and I played that game to death, but you know what? I rarely had anybody who liked fighting games. When Tekken 4 came along, I grabbed it and went back to fighting games again after a long break. And I played Tekken 4 to death. I played Tekken Tag. I played Tekken 3, because I know that's kind of going backwards, but hey, I did. And when Tekken 5 first came out and I watched that intro, I cried. I literally cried because I was so excited to play it. And you know what? That's the kind of fans that are good, is the kinds of people who just love the game. They don't go out and say, you're a scrub, fuck you, sorry, forget my language, you suck, all this stuff. They don't do that. They welcome new players. I wish I could welcome new players back then, but my problem was, most people I knew didn't even like fighting games, and the few that did, no offense, were just Street Fighter or Soul Calibur fans, and I was somewhat a Soul Calibur fan, but Tekken was my game. And anytime I talked to a fighting game person who did play fighting games, which was very rare, by the way, they insulted Tekken. They badmouthed it and said how it was just a juggle fest and it was complete and utter garbage. And I went to an anime club a few years ago and was made fun of and ridiculed by a hardcore gamer because I played Tekken. And he would ridicule me just for being around because he would never forget me. And here's the thing. You don't need to treat they don't need to treat the community like that, It's unreasonable. It doesn't make any sense. And the worst part is, I'm going to have to learn how to get better at these games sooner or later, because as more as I watch Mac's videos, I still am often stuck with AI to fight up until 2011, because I didn't have online. So I didn't have friends to play with, because nobody I knew liked fighting games. So I had to fight against the AI, time and again. And it didn't really help me in the end to fight the AI. But the point is, you gotta treat the community right. That, obviously we need to do that. And sure, it's inevitable there's gonna be new people, but that's what happens with any community when it gets bigger. And you don't kill the community, Max. You help it grow. You've helped the community grow, and I'm gonna be grateful to you for a long time to come, because without you, here's the thing. I touched Marvel 3, and I hated it. I hated it, because it just didn't feel right. The controls felt so weird and different from other fighting games I was used to without, with the limb approach. And I'd played some Guilty Gear, I'd played some games around, Darkstalkers, etc., but Marvel 3 just felt weird. And then I went back and saw your videos, and I was like, I need to give this game another shot. I heard about Ultimate. Oh man, I want to get that. I see Nova. Oh my gosh, I love Nova. And wow. Wow. That's all I can say. I officially love Marvel 3. And thank you, Max. I owe you for that. And what the hell? There are ants on my camera. There are ants on my camera. That is weird. That is very, very weird. But anyway, thank you for that. I owe you big time for that. And, without you, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd be playing more Tekken, maybe, but I definitely wouldn't like Marvel. And I wouldn't have gotten more into it. And, I ended up going and looking up things about the FGC and everything. And that's thanks to you. And I was already a big Tekken player, but you made me turn a game I thought I hated into one I loved. And, just never change, man. And, that's just how I am. And I thank you for that. because without you, you know, who knows what would have happened. And, you know, but thank you, Max. See ya.